Welcoming everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Barb Pitcock here. No Guts, No Story. And as we're getting everyone on, um, there is just such an excitement when a season is changing. I don't know how many of you love when summer ends and then it's fall. I had to put a hoodie on this morning and I was like, oh, I'm so excited for hoodie weather because I love when it's a new season, a fresh start. Kids are going back to school. How many of you have kids in school? How many of you have grandkids that started school this week? So for my grandkids, they started on 2 days ago on Thursday. And I couldn't believe they started so early. But the thing about it is, it's so hot in Arizona. Why wouldn't you want to be inside in the air conditioning, right? So, not like they're going to be outside playing in 120 degrees. But I want to talk to you guys today about something that it really hit me this week. July was so full of blessings, so full of blessings. My baby girl, the youngest of the three, got married in a beautiful resort in Mexico. Let me move the screen. And then right when we got home, I got my grandbabies for a week. We called it Grandma Camp. And there is nothing that makes me have more joy and happiness than playing with little kids, right? Like, who doesn't want their grandkids every day of their life? Mine lives so far away. I think it had been probably 3 years since the boys had time and a break where we could all be together, and Chance had them and we were here at the lake. Maybe it had been a year since we had been all together in Kansas at Lola's birthday by our pool. And so I was due for a grandma week. But I want to ask you guys a question, like, what brings you so much joy and happiness? Like, what is it for you? And what is it that you are waiting on and it just seems like it's so delayed? Because for me, that is one thing that had been like on my list, on my dream board. And when you have a dream and a vision and it's not coming to fruition, sometimes it's easy to compare yourself to everyone else or envy. Like, my neighbors have their grandkids every weekend. So I would be watching them take their grandkids down to the dock and all the little boys fishing. And sometimes when you're in a season of waiting, you're doubting that you're going to have that reward that you imagine that your life would be. Like, sometimes you got to realize the greater the reward, the greater the resistance. The greater the reward, the greater the resistance. And if you're doubting that your dreams and goals are going to happen, and I'm not talking just business, like, I can have the most successful business in the world and make more money than I've ever made. And I am human, just like every single one of you. So there will be times where I will be wishing that I had something that I don't have. And I want to ask you, are you doubting if you will ever get that reward? Maybe you set a goal of like what your life would look like in 1 year or 5 years or 10 years. Like, I would have thought by now I would have built a family compound. I would be surrounded by my kids and grandkids every single day. And it's funny because we don't know when it's going to happen. We just know it's going to happen when we walk by faith, not by fact. When we walk by, not by calendar, but by character. And I spent a lot of time with my kids this month. It was such a blessing. But I was talking to Chance yesterday, and I've never seen a young man go through so many things at such a young age. Having a little girl born with a disability and waiting on her to take her first steps, watching her at age 2.5, wanting her to say her first word. I just have so much admiration for them, and the patience, the prayer, the perseverance. And it's one thing when you're going through something, but when you have a child going through something, as a mom, you feel that, right? Watching my daughter Brooklyn struggle with addiction for 10 years and then live and try to live and feel normal and be around other people. When we were at the wedding last month, and it was the most perfect, beautiful day, she said, "Why did I live, Mom? Like, why is my name not on the table back there with the candle and the picture of the people who are here in spirit, but they're not with us here today?" And I said, obviously you have an assignment. Like, obviously you have a reason that you're here. And what is that reason? And I say this to all of you because you might compare yourself to other people and wonder, like, why not me? Why not now? Why does this person have a beautiful home or a college degree, or maybe they just married the man or the woman of their dreams and you're still looking for love? Why does this person have 3 children and you still haven't been able to get pregnant with your first child, or maybe you've lost one? Why does the person in your business keep hitting the ranks and attracting so much success and you see no progress, no reward? I want to share with you a really powerful message. And I want to preface it with saying, do not get your feelings hurt and do not be mad at me. I want to share with you something that I've learned, and it hits really hard and it may strike a chord where you feel a little uncomfortable, but you have not failed in anything you've done. You just haven't finished. And you will not be rewarded or see your dreams come to fruition and stick until you have a really deeply rooted foundation that can actually handle that success. So you're not behind. Infinite intelligence, or the universe, God, is showing you everything you need. You just have to be obedient. You have to get in the word, pray, listen, have patience. There's a sacred test, and God's timing is always it's right on time. Miracles are never rushed. Some of you are praying for a miracle. Some of you are praying for this big transition to happen in your life, your finances, your health, your love, whatever it is. It's not a delay to punish you. It's all in God's timing. And when I think about that, I think of the story of the Sermon on the Mount. Have any of you ever heard of Jim Rohn? Anybody listen to Jim Rohn? One of the greatest philosophers ever. Any of you listen to Earl Nightingale or Napoleon Hill? And some people are like, yeah, I don't really read books. I don't really listen to stuff. Well, you and I have a different assignment. Like, we're not the same, right? So if you're not going to read and listen to stuff, let me just drop some nuggets here. There is a story called the Sermon on the Mount, and it's about a teacher, a pretty good teacher, in fact. And the teacher had a message and a calling and a purpose. And everywhere he went, people laughed at him. They mocked him. They threw stones. They said he was crazy. In fact, eventually they crucified him on a cross. And when you hear the Sermon on the Mount, his only goal was to share the story, his purpose, his passion. And he knew with so much conviction. But everywhere he went, he had opposition, right? So where there is a really big calling, there will be a really big resistance. Where there is a really big purpose and passion, there will always be opposition. So what if you have a really big purpose and really big passion, but you're giving up because of the delay? You set a goal for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 10 years ago, and none of them have happened. So you're frustrated. You're like, I failed. Look at my age. Look at where I'm at. I shouldn't be in this. Too many people lose heart and they give up and they turn around and they go back home. So when Jesus would go to these small towns and share his story, people would throw stones at him, and they would laugh at him. And the naysayers would say, he's crazy. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. He didn't try to stop the mockers. He just left the town and let them be mockers. There were people that told lies about him. He didn't say, why would she tell that lie? He just knew those are the liars. You might be surrounded by people that are crazy, that are narcissists, that are complete sociopaths. Like, you can't sit and try to figure out, like, why would that person do that to me? You have to let them be the way they are and continue on your journey with peace and joy and love and forgiveness. You don't have to forget what people did, but you do have to keep going and be in alignment with who you are and what God's plan is for your life. So many people get so perplexed. They just can't handle it. And you've got to grow your capacity to really receive the reward. The miracles are not going to happen without effort, without faith, without you being in alignment. And I had to learn that lesson over and over and over again. And the third time I had to learn it, I said, I'm not going to die and have to come back and learn this lesson again. Like, I'm going to learn it, right? And the day that I heard a podcast called Living a Life of Surrender and forgiving every single person, the minute something happens to me, I don't take it personally. I don't react. I might communicate, but I'm going to keep moving forward in alignment. It frustrates the hell out of the person that is trying to ruin your life. It literally has them so frustrated because their goal is to get you to react. Their goal is to steal your dream. Their goal is to stop you from pursuing and seeing that miracle come to fruition in your life. But every single delay, the result of your efforts, your patience, your faith, your focus, your forgiveness, your energy. That's where when you say, I welcome the delay, I'm so happy for everyone else that is having success. I'm not going to have an ego. I'm not going to have envy. Think of all the people that hated Jesus. They envied him. They wished that they were having this great impact on people. The only people that tear people down are people that are jealous. The only people that tear down instead of building up are people that don't have confidence. They are not in alignment. They don't know that inner self power and purpose and passion. They haven't done the work. You have to be happy with what is and be grateful. And you have to be happy for other people who are having their dreams come true, their sickness be healed, their bank accounts are blowing up. When you're just, what would I say, patient and understanding and faith that your day is coming, it will come. Welcome the delay. Let me ask you this. When you do not get what you want, how do you feel? Do you have faith that it's going to happen, or do you feel defeated? Because when you welcome the delay, it will prove that the treasure, the dream you have is so real, you will not give up. People who don't have a worthy ideal, they don't have a dream and a goal, they give up at the first sign of resistance because they don't know what they want. They're not in alignment. And that comes quickly, it will vanish quickly. I'm going to say that again. That comes quickly leaves quickly. That which is solid is going to take you some time. That which is really meant to make impact and change people's lives, which is really the only reason we're on this planet, is to serve and witness. We come in with nothing. We're leaving with nothing. We're here during this time with an assignment to step into alignment of what is my purpose in this lifetime. Time of delay helps you mature. That which is solid takes time to build a deeply rooted foundation. Think of delay when you don't get your dreams, you don't hit your goal. It's not happening for you, but it's happening for everyone else. Think of delay not as a roadblock, but a bridge, and walk that bridge. Get in the word, get in a book, get in a good podcast, take the course, listen to the training, go to the summit. We have a summit coming up that's so power packed with so much training. It's $79 for a virtual summit, literally going to change people's lives. Probably have 25 speakers, 6-figure earners, people that help people with healing, people that help people with a breakthrough, people that wrote books on self-sabotage and how to just crush all of your limiting beliefs and come up. But there's people that wouldn't pay $79 to even watch it virtually, let alone come there in person for $100. Those who quit during the delay are not worthy of the reward. I'm going to repeat that. Those who quit during the delay were never worthy of the reward. If they would have gotten the reward, they would have self-sabotaged it. It would have been gone anyway. Delay creates patience. It helps you have growth. Do you want to know who sent me these notes and gave me this message yesterday? My son, Chance. A man who abandons the dream in the middle of the course. He didn't really want that dream. He wanted the comfort of the illusion of it. The big house, the big car, the beautiful girl, the fat bank account, being famous, being Instagram worthy of all the likes and all of the things that go viral. That is so much of the world. That is so much of the world. And when I think about the Sermon on the Mount, how Jesus knew he had a purpose, he knew there was a plan. He sacrificed, he kept going, he kept going. And don't think I'm trying to push my beliefs on you. This is just one story. He kept going and he kept telling the story, and he didn't care who quit. He didn't care who mocked him. He didn't care who lied. He didn't care who threw a stone. He didn't care who started a different church. He didn't care who jumped out of his business into another. He just kept going. And he built a pretty big following. 2025 years later, it's still growing, probably stronger today than ever because of social media. Be a builder, not a beggar. Be someone that builds up, not tears down. Those who endure delay are conditioned during that time to be advanced. If that's you right now, watch your language, watch your focus, watch your fear and turn it into energy and discipline and stay the course. When you stay the course, you have to ask yourself, this is not like a sound good thing. This is like laws of the universe. As a man thinketh, so is he. Ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door will be opened. Seek and you shall find. Like, I didn't make this stuff up. It's a universal law from God, right? So if I am aligned with the law and I know favor isn't measured by a calendar or by speed, it's married up with, can this person handle the blessing? Ask yourself in everything you're listening to today, music, radio, TV, is God going to bless that? Ask yourself the conversations people have around you. Do you want to participate or do you want to run? Ask yourself, is God going to bless that? My own kids, Chance will look at me and be like, yeah, let's don't even talk about that. That's not God. Because he's been in a season where there was not God, and he knows what it feels like to build it all and watch it go away. He's read the story. He called me this week. One day he was on a plane and he read the whole book of Jeremiah, and he called me because my favorite verse in the whole Bible is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. And I rest on that. It's in red because it's a promise from God, right? So at times when I wanted to give up, that was the only thing that would pull me through. And when you're spiritually aligned, it's not going to be measured by a calendar when you thought your goal should happen. It's in God's timing, not how long you've waited, but how well you've waited. Did you stay the course? Did you stay in faith? So have you grown? Have you watched your tongue? Have you forgiven? Have you believed? Not because God wants to be cruel to you and not give you your goals and dreams. It's not cruelty. It's the law of the universe. Can you really handle the blessings that you're about to seek and find and receive? Can you really handle them? Because if you don't grow, your capacity doesn't grow, which gold and silver, it's all tempered through fire, right? You've got to become the person that's actually worthy, that can handle that power, that purpose. Can you handle the blessings? Because the reward, to reward a man who is not prepared, is not mercy, it's sabotage. I want you to write that down. I had it in my notes. To reward a man who is not prepared is not mercy on him, it's to sabotage him, because it will just come and it will go. So if you're doubting, there's a great podcast on YouTube with Napoleon Hill. You're not delayed because you're being denied. You're not behind, you're right on schedule. Is that not powerful? You're not delayed because you're behind. You're not denied, you're right on schedule. And this is not abandonment. It is a sacred test. This is your summons. I want you to listen to this. This is your summons. Miracles when you're growing weary from waiting, when you're tired from hoping, when you're tempted to quit, it it's no sign of progress. It's been 1 year, 5 year, 10 years. The delay is the first test that that dream is real. It's so real. I'm working on a new book. I published my book 20 years ago. It's very outdated. The book ends in 2001 when we're standing on a stage and we've achieved this great honor with this NFL football player who held up Vince Lombardi with the trophy. I have a Vince Lombardi book right here, What It Takes to Be Number One. And Dave and I were in business with one of his number one guys, a Green Bay Packer. And we went to the Super Bowl and we sat on the 50-yard line and we were in the elevator with Barry Manilow. Like, we were living the dream. How many of you would love to be around all these famous people and have all the money? Let me tell you about a nightmare. Just because someone's famous, just because someone's rich, just because someone's wealthy and has had great success in some area does not mean that their assignment is the same as yours. Sometimes we seek third-party validation. We want to be with the influencer. We want to name drop and all this stuff. I used to do that when I was young. I don't do that anymore because here's what I know. The higher you put these people on a pedestal, the first sign of any mistake, and we're all human and we're all going to make mistakes, here comes the empire. I don't need to be up on a pedestal. You don't need to be with someone up on a pedestal. Understand that your dream, if it is real, if the dream is small, you've got to get a bigger one. But heaven's way of verifying if you really have a dream worthy of living is the fact that you are waiting and it's still your dream. That's the proof. When it's easy, comes quickly, there's no foundation. When there's delay, it separates the pretenders from the prepared. It separates the imitators, the wannabes, from the real. He who seeks wealth with purpose, with legacy, with power, with impact, it's going to be delayed. Not because you're forgotten and you're not worthy, but because structure must be fortified first. And the Sermon on the Mount, when you think about that story and everything that he went through, I want you to ask yourself, was there great delay? Was there great sacrifice? Was there great pain? Was there great purpose? There really was. And today, there is a great movement and so many lives impacted because of one person that believed. There will be an invisible hand that will cut away all the fear when you are in alignment. There will be this knowing about you that you just know that you know that you know this is what I'm supposed to do. So for me, I have to wake up every morning and I have to pray like a crazy woman. I do this book, Command the Morning, for business owners because I've stepped into alignment. I know I'm where I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to do, but don't kid yourself. I get tired. It's easy for me to compare myself to other people. Why is my company at 1.5 this month and this other company's at 10 million? That which comes fast with ease doesn't always stay. What that person's doing and what that person's doing doesn't have anything to do with my purpose, my dream, my goal. I need to be deeply rooted and know that people will come and people will go, but I know my assignment. Do you even know your assignment? Only those who have patience and grow in delay will see the miracles of their destiny. So let's talk about patience. Gosh, when I was a high school girl, I wanted a cute boyfriend. I wanted a boy that would love me and adore me and take me on dates and send me flowers and make me happy and build me up. That's not what I got. My life was nothing like that. But I compared myself to everyone around me. They were barely out of high school and they were getting proposed to. Oh, I wanted that so badly that I actually bought my own wedding ring. And I thought, if I pay for the ring and he knows I'm planning the wedding, like maybe this will happen. I was so insecure. I didn't feel worthy. I came from a lot of verbal abuse and bullying and low self-esteem, red hair, freckle face. I won't repeat the things kids would say to me. Kids can be so cruel. But there were mentors in my life that said, "You are beautiful. You are worthy. Stay the course. Stay in prayer." I remember the night that I was praying. I remember exactly where I was. I was in the Russell Food Mart parking lot. It's the first chapter of my book, No Guts, No Story. If you haven't read it, you should get it quick. It's about to be obsolete. But I was in the Food Mart parking lot. It was the first day I was a beautician. I had never done hair at the mortuary, but I was going to because my dad's mom's second husband's wife, which would have been my great grandma by marriage, had passed away. And my sister Lori was going to go with me to go do her hair. It was, you might think that sounds crazy, but I did a lot of hair at the mortuary and I did a lot of hair at the jail too. Loved both because I loved doing what I could do to serve people that didn't have any power or control over their situation. So deep in my heart, I've always had this dream to contribute. Contribution is my need. So my sister Lori and I were going to go together, and it was just a really bad night. I don't have time today to tell you on this podcast or live stream or Facebook Live or Instagram how the night went, but it was just bad. And I was praying for something to come along. I actually felt like giving up. All of my friends were at K-State or KU. They were in sororities or fraternities. I had more guy friends than girlfriends. I always thought girls were, I loved my girlfriends. I fit in more with the guys. Let's just say that. But my best friend was a guy, the one I shared a locker with all 4 years of high school. I was dating an older boy that wasn't in high school. So I had this best friend, David, and we shared a locker. And he went on to be one of the greatest veterinarians ever and went to K-State. Amazing young man. But growing up, he didn't have a lot. And weirdly, he lived right next door to my husband today, Dave Fitcock. But I remember when they all went to college, there was no cell phones. So like if they came back, they would be like, "You should come to K-State one day." I mean, my dad disappeared on graduation night. I couldn't go to college. I was helping my mom raise 4 younger siblings. I had 2 jobs. And then I drove to beauty school. And so a lot of times I would say, like, why not me? Why not now? Why do I have to work until midnight night shift, wake up at 7, drive to beauty school, get off, go wait tables, take a quick nap, go work the night shift, help my mom pick up her kids from the babysitter, help her get groceries. Sometimes the kids would come and sit at Stop to Shop where I worked just so my mom could go do her night job. And I would literally babysit and help them with homework. Like, I can remember comparing my life to everyone else. Like, it was a freaking freight train of just one thing after another. But I love these words. I want you to write them down. I do not faint. I do not panic. I walk by faith, not by clock. This is not punishment. This is permission. Silence is not opposition. Delay is not a curse. It's a calling. And I want to tell you guys some things that happened during that chapter of comparing myself to all the other girls and wishing that someone loved me, that I was pretty, that I was happy, that I was getting a college degree. You know, I was headed to Pueblo Ballet. My boyfriend in high school's mom was an instructor. She was my dance instructor. Then I took over her dance school. I loved dance. I really thought I was going to a ballet and would end up in New York City someday on Broadway. Like my senior trip, I went to meet Baryshnikov in New York while everyone else was 18, could buy beer, got in the limo and went and got drunk. My friend Amy Casey, she would tell you, we were there together. Everyone went in a limo. Her and I went to see Metamorphosis, and I waited in a scary alley in New York City. My sponsor of the senior trip is like, "Where is Barb?" I wasn't leaving until I met Baryshnikov and Liza Minnelli, he was dating at the time. Like, I got the picture, the autograph. I went downtown New York City. I printed it at 1 hour photo with my little plastic camera. I literally had dreams so big, and God had a different plan for me. I didn't get to go to Pueblo Ballet, even though that's where my high school dance teacher moved to be an instructor. I didn't even stay in that relationship. It literally broke me. I had nothing end up the way I thought it would end up. And do you know when I went to K-State to see my friends that were all in fraternities, sororities, one was a dancer, they were going to school to be teachers and veterinarians. I was working at a convenience store, watching my brothers and sisters. And I didn't hate them because their parents were rich and they got to go to a big university. I didn't hate them because they had a dad and mine was missing. I was happy for them somehow because I was so deeply rooted in faith as a little girl. I always knew God had a plan for me. So I joined Amway. Can you imagine this? In the midst of it all, I joined Amway, not once, but twice. Thought if I got a better sponsor, I would have better luck, right? And my only trip to K-State before my date with Dave Pitcock years later was to do an Amway meeting for all the guys. I didn't even see my girlfriends that were there on that trip. They probably would have not came. But my friend David said, you can come to my fraternity and you can do a meeting. And I look back on that. I'm like, was I crazy? Like, literally, was I crazy? Why would I go there to be mocked and laughed at and made fun of? And she's in a pyramid. And what does she think she's doing? What is she selling? Soap? Guys, I had a mentor that built my dream so big. I didn't give a crap what anyone else was doing. I knew I had a picture on my dream board of an Amway couple from Garden City. Their name was George and Melody Pointner. I don't even know if they're alive anymore. I was so young back then, they may not even be alive. I was 18. They lived in Garden City. I drove 2.5 hours to drive to their house to see their helicopter pad because at a convention where Zig Ziglar spoke and he got down on one knee in Wichita, Kansas at the Century 2. And he said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll have everything you ever dreamed of. And I remember like, yes, that's what I want to do. And it was so weird because I was so young and nobody else was doing it, but I knew that that was my purpose. But then I planned this big wedding and we were supposed to get married on Christmas Eve. And it was the most horrible relationship. I was following in the same footsteps. I would have ended up exactly like my mom. Love my mom. She's my greatest mentor in the whole world, but she was in a season of pain. No boundaries, no self-confidence, allowing people to walk all over her, in a relationship with no loyalty, being cheated on. I love my dad too. They both had their own journey, right? Thank God my dad did what he did. That's why I am the person I am. Today, he's happy, happily married, loves his life. Her and him have had a ton of success. That's not even the person he left with. It's someone different. And my mom literally stepped into her own purpose. It couldn't have happened had they stayed together. It was definiteness of purpose that they both would go separate ways and be the people they are today and to co-create the person that I am. Your past does not predict your future. Everything you've been through made you who you are. So let me tell you, when I severed that relationship and broke off that marriage wedding plan that was 90 days away, wedding was Christmas Eve, 7 bridesmaids, miniature groom and bride, all the things. I was becoming a Catholic so I could get married in the biggest church in Kansas, this historical place. Like it was all about like what everybody else had done. All my girlfriends that were Catholic, I still remember the song at their wedding because I was like, I want to have that. God, thank God there wasn't Instagram and Facebook. I would have been a real mess, right? But here's the thing. I knew that I wasn't in alignment. I was trying so hard to make a wrong a right. I was trying to put a square nut in a round hole. Like I was forcing it. Nothing about it was in alignment with who I was. And you got to think about the patience. God was designing the perfect partner. He was taking me through a season of pain to bring me to this incredible first date with my future husband that would literally be everything I ever dreamed of. I just had to have patience. I didn't back then. I do today because today I'm old. Today I'm 54 years old. All the wisdom, all the pain, all the setbacks created in me such a deeply rooted faith. I am aligned with the law of the universe. Favor isn't measured by work or speed or your dream board or how you think it should turn out. It will come with so much force when it's in alignment with God's plan for your life. And nothing will stop you from God's plan. And nothing you can do will ever stop you from your destiny if you get in alignment with who you are, what you want, let everything else go. You have to forgive. God's not going to bless a hardened heart. And spiritually, not because of luck, but because you are ready for that blessing, that favor. You are deeply rooted. You can handle it. You will do good with the money. You will stay humble with the success. You will serve others with the treasure. You will use your talents. And that story that you have will be so strong because of everything that you've endured. So I want you to write this down. Delay strips away every excuse. It silences all the hype. It reveals if the dream was really yours or if you borrowed it from someone else. And I want you guys to know you deserve every single dream that's in your heart. But is it really your dream or are you just making it up? Think about Henry Ford. Financial failure, everybody mocking him, laughing at him, saying it's not going to work, you're never going to make it. He had such a definite chief aim. No rush. Oh my gosh, it was delayed. But God will honor your preparedness. During a season where it's not happening for you, grow, learn, stay in gratitude, watch your thoughts, watch your energy. When you have pressure and you're not ready, you'll collapse. But when you move by faith, and you know that the battle is already won, the success is already yours, you obey the law, time will move faster. When you align with your purpose and your actions are in alignment, you watch your tongue, you have faith, your words are so much belief, all the delay will disappear. We are the only one to blame for the delay because we're not ready. Are you doubting? Are you thinking it's been 1 year, 5 year, 10 year? Why not me? Why not now? I'm going to tell you a couple of books to read that I've read recently. Sabotage No More by Jenny Potter. She's a keynote speaker at the upcoming summit we're having. If you want to be at the summit and you want to learn and grow, it's literally a $79 virtual ticket. Get some disciplines in your life. Change your habits. Change your environment. You will be the average of your 5 closest friends. If I didn't wake up every day and take time to work harder on me than I work on the business, I would still be comparing like the college girl that didn't get to go to college. I would still be envious of the girl that had the boyfriend when I didn't have one. I would still be wishing for the wedding, watching everyone else's. Oh my gosh, children. I wanted children so bad. My best friend, she had 2 babies before I had my first, and she lost a baby. And I can remember being so sad for her and so devastated. That's when like SIDS and babies dying in a crib, I had never heard of that before. He was almost 2. And I can remember watching the devastation that she endured. And her next child was born with a handicap. And I can remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, is that what it's like to be a mom? Then when I was pregnant and I walked every day with the neighbor that I had growing up at the campground, we were both due at the same time. No, she was due 5 months before me. She delivered her baby and then she died of a horrible disease when her dad went to get her a change of clothes to leave the hospital with the baby. And I can remember the devil just planting so many seeds of doubt in my head, like, oh my gosh, like, what if that happens to me? And do you know what's so crazy? That was like 1 in 300,000 women that got that disease. It was called toxemia help syndrome. And my fear, I don't know if you're going to think I'm crazy or not, but I want to tell you it's the one thing I was the most afraid of. I went into the hospital by Life Watch 2 months early. Brooklyn was going to be born on Halloween. It was September 1st that week. And I attracted exactly what my friend passed away of. It's all I thought about. It's all I worried about. It was my greatest fear. I created that reality in my life because it's the only thing we talked. I couldn't even go to the funeral. I felt so guilty because I was still pregnant with my little baby girl and I couldn't go there knowing that her parents were so devastated. The guilt I felt, it was the craziest thing, guys, and I was 21. But it gets crazier than that. They said 1 in 300,000 women, and they flew me to Wesley Medical Center. And that's the day I really started believing in miracles because they told Dave, the baby is fine, but we don't know if Barb will make it. 3 days, I got bigger and bigger and bigger. They were like, let's cut her rings off. My eardrums burst. There's a picture with blood on the pillow. Everyone from my church came there, laid hands on me, prayed for me. My grandma that was a Catholic literally thought I was in a cult. I don't know what happened, but I want to tell you guys this. There is so much power in prayer and belief and conviction. And within 20 minutes that day of no fluid draining for over 72 hours, and they had me on my left side with my arm up because even if the phone rang and my dad or people called, they were so scared. My blood pressure would spike. It was 240 over 120. I want to tell you about a miracle. I couldn't hear the baby cry because my eardrums had burst. Everyone around me was afraid. My face looked like a dead cow that laid in the heat in the summer for days. My neck and my chin from here to here was one thing. I was just blowing up with toxic poisoning. And that day, when they said, I want you to believe with me, that you are going to live and not die. You are going to be healed. You are going to have a long life with your husband. 20 minutes later, the catheter bag started to fill. And I've never told this story on a Facebook Live. I have no idea where this came from. But God wasn't finished with me. I wasn't a failure. I just wasn't finished. I wasn't married when I got pregnant with Brooklyn. I felt so much like maybe this is happening because I sinned. Maybe this is happening because I did something wrong. Have you ever had that feeling where every time something's not happening for you, you think it's because you deserve the pain? You feel guilty. You feel ashamed. I'm going to tell you right now, the price was already paid. Nothing that you have ever done is held against you. You can be clean slate, forgiven for anything that's ever happened. It's just a simple, single decision that you say, I'm forgiven for everything. I forgive all the people that I don't want to forgive for everything. I am absolutely stepping into alignment with joy and love and peace and purpose. I'll accept the power, the talent, the treasures. I'll do good with all the things. Most people just stay mad. They just stay stuck. They just stay comparing. That day, my little girl, Brooklyn, was 3 days old. I hadn't heard her cry. I thought I was going to have this beautiful baby, a perfect delivery. I did all the Lamaze classes. I was cut from one hip to the other, laying on my side with blood draining out of my ear. Like it wasn't perfect. It wasn't Instagram worthy, if you will. I look at the moms today and they're like, don't take the picture yet. Do you have a filter? I would love to just show y'all my newborn baby pictures. I look like a blown up pig with a little girl that is literally this big. And do you know what? It was the greatest miracle that ever happened in my life, being a mom. Being a mom, greatest title, way bigger than a network marketing top earner, than a $1 million this, or an author of a book, or a CEO. I just wanted to be a mom. And God blessed me with 3 beautiful children. Watching my children go to K-State was such a dream come true. Isn't it crazy how we want to give our kids anything that we didn't get? Watching them work hard. Callie sprayed spray tans. She sprayed 25 naked girls every Friday night that were dance team or cheerleader just so she could pay for her groceries. She didn't have my American Express. She didn't have unlimited spending. She was trying to make rent. She was trying to pay groceries. I taught them to work hard, but I made it possible that they could achieve their dreams and goals that they wanted based on personal development, a work ethic, a strong example, teaching them how to dream like someone taught me. And I really don't believe any of that would have ever happened had I not been a part of network marketing and direct sales. God had a plan for me, and helping people to have a dream and a vision is such a passion of mine. When my husband Dave joined a network marketing company in 1996, I was so mad at him. I could not believe he was that dumb to go join a company and spend money we didn't have to get in something that I had tried not once, but twice, maybe 3 times. I had been the Avon lady, the Arbonne girl, the Mary Kay rep. I had the 3-wick party light candles. I had Silpada jewelry. I did it all. I had Avon catalogs right there in my salon trying to sell Avon. My grandma was a Fuller Brush lady. My grandma sold Shackley. I remember eating those fiber bars, coming home thinking I was getting a peanut butter Reese's and it tasted like sand with some peanut butter and chalky chocolate flavored something. Like, I grew up on this. I cut my teeth on network marketing products. God was grooming me to be the person that I am today. And I know that I'm in alignment. But let me ask you a question. Are you in alignment? Are you comparing yourself to everyone around you with no patience? Are you angry that your dreams and goals aren't coming true, but everyone else's are? Don't compare yourself to other people. The true test is if you quit at the sign of great resistance, or if you step into purpose and say, I'm loyal, I'm aligned, I'm all in, I see the mission, I see the message that I have from my mess, I see the testimony that I can give to create so much good in the world. Every single one of you was born with time that's going to run out, talent that you lose if you don't use, and treasures that are going to be blessed 10 times for anything that's been taken from you ever the minute that you believe. That's a promise. Don't hate the people that did you wrong. Don't blame anyone else around you. Take responsibility. This isn't their fault. It's yours. Your tongue, your thoughts, your acts, focus, not fear, being aligned, and not just aligned, but moving. When you move, God will move. I wish we had 4 hours. I could literally help you design the life of your dreams. And I love what I do because that's what I do every single day. And you know what's more exciting than the success that I've had? Seeing 12 people making 6 figures, some of them, I can't make an income claim, make more in a month than I used to make in 2 years. I know that if you have a dream in your heart, it's there because God put it there. Don't ask, how am I going to get the resources? Stop asking, why do I keep failing? You didn't fail, you haven't finished. And you're not behind. Because time is something that man made up. Calendars we made up. Clocks we made up. God's not watching a clock. He's not watching a calendar either. He's waiting on you to get in alignment with what your dream really is and how bad you really want it. And I hope that this message hits you as hard as it hit me, because when I think of the Sermon on the Mount, when I think of everything that Jesus went through, it was so much distraction. People could have created so much doubt. Everyone around him had so much more power. And the very people he trusted turned on him. But he didn't hate them. He said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's hard. That's hard. But I'm telling you, the sooner you do it, the better you're going to feel. And I believe, it's my own personal belief, that there's someone out there that needed to hear this message today, and it's going to make impact on you like it did for me. So drop in the comments, what is the one takeaway that you have from today? I can't wait to look back at all the comments on this live stream. Tell me what it is that really resonated with you. And tell me what I could help you with. What could I help you with that you're just stuck? If there's one topic, like, what has to happen in your life for you to have complete peace? That's the real question. And whatever that is, let's orchestrate a plan to make that happen, because you deserve to feel good. You deserve, if not for you, do it for your kids and grandkids, because they're watching you. You're creating a generational blessing that is going to live legacy long after you're gone. And for some people, that's a blessing. And for some people, that's a curse. But it's the way you think about it. It's your perception that makes it so. And there's only one person in control of this movie script, this life that you're living. You have the pen in your hand. You're writing the script, and you can flip the page, change the channel, get a new notebook or a different colored pen anytime. It's simply a decision. But my message for you today is the patience in the delay is when you will become the person with the character to carry out the assignment. And I hope that during that journey, you learn the lesson, you gain some wisdom, and you'll take your story and go share it with so much authenticity, because that's really what God calls us to do. I hope you guys have an amazing day. If you got anything from today, please share this on your wall and comment what was the one takeaway that you got. You have to hit follow or you won't see when I go live. And you can also turn on your notifications so that you will know, hey, Barb's Live could be a great message. I love you guys. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Have a great day.